Hey guys, so today is going to be the long-awaited nursing video that I've been promising you guys for a very long time. I have been meaning to film this for you guys for a while because I get literally like at least one question a day about nursing, which I don't mind at all, but I wanted to kind of wrap everything. Instead of like emailing each of you back, I would rather just put it all in a video and answer the majority of your questions so that you guys have a better idea as to why I'm in nursing school, what's the process, and things like that. So first off, I mentioned to you guys in my driving vlog, or when I was driving to school, that I have a couple of degrees already. I graduated high school in 2005 and I immediately went into college. Like that summer I took one or two courses, I can't even remember, and I graduated on time and everything. I have an associate's degree in business administration that I finished 2 years after I graduated from high school, and then I have a bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in finance, and I got that in May of 2009. So what happened, I went to a business magnet school here in San Antonio, and I'm sure you guys know what it is if you live in town, but I went to a business magnet school, and I always felt like I was just destined to be in business. I mean, you know, I spent 4 years of high school doing that, and I just felt like that was the track that I was supposed to go on. And I'm super great at something that you guys don't know about me. I'm super great at math. Numbers just flow in and out of my head. I can figure out things like that. It doesn't take me that long. Although as I get older, it gets a little bit more rusty, but that's just, it comes naturally to me. So it was just something that I thought that it would be the best thing for me. Come to find out, you know, I graduated, great, hoorah, I'm done. I actually considered going back to graduate school to get my master's in finance or accounting, but I didn't want to take the GMAT, and I wanted to take a little bit of a break. My brain was fried. I looked for a job the entire summer. I had actually contemplated, like I said, going back to school anyway, and I looked and looked. I had actually been looking for a job like 6 months prior to graduating, and I just could not find anything that was willing to pay me more than what I was making at my current job, the job that I'm at still right now, which is really sad. You know, you figure you graduate you graduate college and you're gonna get, you know, an entry-level position, but you're gonna make decent money. I made more money at my current job than I was making then, and I'm not saying that it's always all about money, but you know, at that point we had a mortgage and like everything, and I couldn't sacrifice taking a pay cut just so I could use my degree. So I was like, you know what, I had already been thinking about it for a few months as to going to nursing school. It was just one of those things, I don't know, like my best friend had her daughter in March of 2009, and when I went to go visit her in the hospital, after she had Macy, which is her daughter, who was my flower girl, by the way. A lot of you guys asked me that, how I know her. That's my best friend's daughter. Anyway, off topic. When I had gone to go visit her, it was just a really neat experience, especially in the OB area. And so, I don't know, it was kind of one of those things. I was like, you know what, I'm thinking about going back to school anyway. I really don't want to have to take the GMAT and do thesis papers and all this kind of crap, so why not go back to school? So I kind of did some research on it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get a basic degree, like nothing that's going to be too hard, not another 4-year degree or anything like that, and just see how it goes and go from there. So that's what I did. I kind of just did some research. I found out that St. Philip's, here in San Antonio, St. Philip's has a nursing program, but it was for an LVN, which is a little bit lower than an RN. It's a step lower. And then San Antonio College, which is SAC, had a 2-year program for an RN, and you could actually make the same amount of money that a normal RN made, just with a lower degree. So that is the path that I took. And to be honest, I just kind of started to Google things in San Antonio. Of course, they have like Galen College, Baptist has one also. They're 2-year degrees as well, except they cost a lot more, and that was pretty much my only decision. They cost a lot more, and I also needed something that was flexible enough to work with my full-time job and my seasonal job, which you guys know I work at H&R Block during tax time, so I needed something that was going to be flexible enough. So I decided to go to SAC. So I did need a few prerequisites because when I was in business school, I totally shammed off my sciences. I took human ecology and nutrition for my business degree because I was just not having it. Science is not my worst subject, but it's not my best either. So I just kind of sloughed it off, didn't think twice about it. Well, I needed in my chemistry and microbiology, I needed all that stuff. So pretty much how it works at SAC, they do take, because I had a degree already with some prereqs, like basic courses. For instance, they need you to have, I think, a history or a government, a couple of psychology classes, an ethics class, intro level math class. I had all that stuff already. Oh, and English, they require you to have English as well. And I think a computer class also. I had all that stuff from my previous degree. So pretty much going into the program, the only things that I needed were chemistry, just chemistry 1. I needed A&P 1 and A&P 2, which is anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. And I needed microbiology. And I think I needed a couple of it's just basic psychology classes as well. So here's my problem where I ran into. I took the summer off after I graduated, and then in the fall I immediately enrolled in, just some basic classes. And I just told myself, I'm like, you know what, I busted butt to graduate in 4 years, which normally if you just take the basic full-time 12 hours, you can't get a bachelor's degree in 4 years. You usually either have to take 15 to 18 hours or take summer school. So I busted my butt to get my bachelor's degree in 4 years. When I went into my nursing degree, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take it slow, like no problem. And it just so happens my best friend Heidi wanted to get into it too. So we started taking prereqs together at SAC, and it was great. I think the first semester I only took 2 classes. I can't even remember. I know I took anatomy and physiology 1 for sure. I want to say I took like a psychology class with it. I really can't remember. But I was like, I'm not going full time. I'm just going to relax. I'm going to take 2 classes at a time. Well, that was a horrible mistake because I could have started a whole year earlier had I taken it full time. But of course back then I didn't know that it was going to be such a passion in the end. I was just thinking of something to do to try and look for a job in the meantime. So it ended up working out better for me. So I took a couple classes the first semester. I'm like, all right, great. I think I can't remember if I made A's and B's in that class. I did well. So I was like, okay, this will be cool. Second semester, I think I took microbiology, and I think I took A&P 2 and chemistry and another psychology class. Fine, okay. You can't take A&P 1 and A&P 2 together. You have to take them separately. And it's like a sequence. So you have to take A&P 1, A&P 2, and then microbiology. So you can't take them together, you have to take them consecutively, one after the other. So I had to wait 3 semesters, which totally bummed me out because I could have started school a whole lot earlier than I actually did. So definitely when you're thinking about doing something like this, do your research, look at the plan, the generic plan that the school is offering and what kind of prereqs you need so that you can plan ahead for things like this. This is something that you definitely would want to talk to an advisor about, because obviously if you don't live in San Antonio and you don't plan on going to San Antonio College, then it's going to be whatever your school requires. So I took all the prereqs pretty much, and you had to have a certain amount of points and a higher GPA to get it qualified to get accepted into the program. So I think SAC at that time takes 1,000 applicants a semester, and they only let in 100 or 150. So the first time I applied, I was accepted, and I think that was primarily, I had a high GPA. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but I waited till I finished all my classes and then applied. So the way that my school works is they have each semester, they have a fall semester, which is from the end of August until December, and then they have a spring semester, which is January to May, and then they have summer, which is June to August. So my semesters, fall and spring, consist of 2 flex some mini semesters within the semester. So a basic semester is 16 weeks long. My semesters are 8 weeks long. So I have Flex 1, which is the first 8 weeks of the semester, and then Flex 2, which is the second 8 weeks of the semester. So I always switch classes Flex 1 and Flex 2. I never have a class that lasts the entire semester. So because of that, the classes are double charged. Like, we have longer lectures, longer clinicals, and more chapters on assignments and on exams and things like that. It's just double time. You have to focus more. You have a lot more work that you have to squeeze in. Just think about it. You're squeezing in an entire 16-week course in 8 weeks. So it's double time. So the way the nursing program at SAC works, I think I mentioned this, but it's a 2-year degree. So it takes 2 years, granted that you don't fail or anything like that. It takes 2 years for you to get your ADN, which is your Associates of Nursing. And with that, you actually, once you graduate with your ADN, you can sit for the nursing boards, and the test that you sit for is called the NCLEX. And so yeah, it's a standardized test. You take it, and if you pass it within so many questions, you get your license and you can be a practicing RN, which is a registered nurse if you don't know. You can be a practicing RN. You can work in any hospital, pretty much anywhere you like. I have heard that in some cities and states, or some schools, some hospitals that are trying to get accredited or a magnet status are trying to weed out LVNs and RNs that have an associate's degree. So if I had been smart, there's a lot of programs around different cities around me where you can, if you have a bachelor's degree, you can actually get your BSN, which is your Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, within 1 year. However, I'm kind of glad I didn't do that, because it would have been very fast-paced. You know, keeping up with my schoolwork now is extremely fast-paced, so I couldn't even imagine trying to shove it all in a year. But anyway, they do have that stuff out there, but you do have to have a bachelor's in something else. So if you currently have a bachelor's that you're not using and you're thinking about going to nursing school, definitely, you know, look into schools that offer a bachelor's degree in nursing, a BSN, so that you don't have to waste your time, because I'll be graduated in May of 2013 only with an associate's, and it actually took me almost 4 years to finish it, just because I was so slow getting my prereqs going, which was a huge mistake on my part. Highly recommend getting your prereqs out of the way ASAP, so that you can get into the program and just complete it without having to actually worry about it. So that's kind of my story. As far as more things about my nursing program, we kind of go in the order as you start off with fundamentals, your first flex, and that just teaches you basic, like bed making, inserting Foley catheters, just the basics, taking vital signs, blood pressures, things like that. And that's pretty much all you can do is like CNA work, or CNA/PCA, whatever your hospital refers to it as. That's pretty much all you can do is that kind of work. Second flex, we go into what we call Commons, which is a med-surg class, and it's considered med-surg 1. So you start to learn, or you do learn to administer medications, shots, pass pills, things like that. So it's a little bit more that you're learning how to do. The second class that you take is going to be complex for us, which is med-surg 2. So it's a little bit more in depth of the med-surg. So when you actually graduate, most people go to a standard med-surg floor. So you're going to be taking care of patients who have just come out of surgery, who mainly have just come out of surgery, or for anything. I mean, really, like, I've been with women who had hysterectomies. I've been with, you know, men who had prostate problems, and or anything. Like, I'm not going to go into gory details about it. Weight loss surgeries, like anything and everything that you can think of for med-surg. So you're learning all that during that time period. The next flex is mental health, which was my least favorite. It was interesting, don't get me wrong, but I was at the state hospital, and there's some real crazy people there. I mean, legit, like, they're not faking it. They're really crazy, and I mean, they're mentally ill. That's exactly what they are. So that wasn't my favorite area. I didn't enjoy that as much, but it was interesting nonetheless. So you learn that, and then The next semester was my favorite, which is the one that I'm in right now, and that is OB and pediatrics. They always have it combined together. So the first flex you do OB, which I mentioned in that vlog, is labor and delivery, your mother-baby, which is postpartum, antepartum, which is unfortunately when mothers lose their children either through a miscarriage or, you know, through stillbirths and things like that. And then you're in the nursery also, which is where the new babies come after their firstborn. So this semester, which by the way I made an A, I was so excited. Thank you guys so much for all the congratulations. I literally busted my butt. This is the first A that I've made in my theory class since I started. I mean, I didn't actually explain that to you. I will in just a second, but I was thrilled. I couldn't even believe it. And when I got into the nursing program, this is the semester that I was looking most forward to. And so because I wasn't such a fan of the med-surg area, you know, you're taking care of adults and geriatric patients, and that's not really the field that I necessarily want to be in forever. I would love to be in the OB field of some sort. I was really nervous that I wasn't going to like it or that I would pass out from seeing births and stuff like that, but I was fine. I absolutely loved it. This is my favorite semester thus far, and I can't wait to finish school so I can try and pursue a career in this field. But anyway, so OB was the first one, and it was very enjoyable for me. The second flex is going to be pediatrics, which I actually start in a few days. So I'm kind of nervous about that. I love children, love little ones, but the thing I'm most excited about is that I get to wear scrubs, like character scrubs. Of course, you guys know I'm going to have Hello Kitty, because I forgot to mention this also, in nursing school you have a uniform. I started off in an all-white scrub uniform, which was horrible, let me tell you, but they switched us to blue tops, black bottoms. That didn't stick because we kind of blended in too much, so now we have white tops and black bottoms, which scrubs are super duper comfortable. I love getting to go to school and work and not have to think about what to wear. But yeah, the white is just not the most attractive thing in the world, but they want you to stand out. Different schools have different colors. Like UT Health Science Center, I think they're orange and navy. I know my best friend Heidi, she goes to UTEP in El Paso, and I think hers are orange and they're either orange and black or orange and navy. They're probably orange and navy, but so each school has their different colors that they go with. But anyway, back to the schedule. So after pediatrics, I will be in critical care, which is ICU and things like that. I think that's going to be a difficult semester because I think you really have to have a heavy heart, because you deal with death probably more than anybody else in the hospital, because a lot of people don't come out of ICU. You know, it's just a basic fact of life, and it's really sad and depressing to think about. So I probably am going to have a hard time with that area, but hopefully it'll be okay. And then the very last flex is management. So that's when you actually get to go in on the floor, have your own patient for your clinical period, and completely run everything by yourself. You know, they're teaching you how to be an independent nurse. So I am so excited. I only have 3 flex left. Like I said, I'm going into pediatrics, and then I'll be in critical care and in management, and then I'll be done. I graduate in May. I'm so ecstatic. So before I talk to you guys about when I'm done, what I'll plan on doing, I'm going to just briefly tell you how my schedule works. So of course they give you the option of choosing your classes, kind of like any college does. The way that my school works is they have a couple of different options. Theory is always, except this semester, theory has always been 2 days per week. So it'll be like a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday, Thursday, and it's 4 hours per day. I know, it's ridiculous. This semester, OB and PD, we only have class 1 day a week for 4 hours, but I'm not sure why. But for med-surg and things like that, we had 8 hours per week that we had to do in theory in class. And then the other part of the class is your clinical site. So that's when you actually wear your scrubs and you go to a hospital and you take care of patients and things like that, very hands-on. And it has to be 12 hours per week. So you can either choose to do 2 days during the week, like a Monday, Tuesday, or a Wednesday, Thursday for 6 hours each day, or you can do an all-day 12-hour shift. So like OB, for instance, I had it every Saturday for 12 hours. So I had to be there at 6:30 and I would leave at 5:30 or 6:30 at night. So that's usually how most classes work. I know I know two different people that are in a nursing program. Like I said, my best friend Heidi, she lives in El Paso. My other friend Vanessa is going to the Baptist one here. Hers is a little bit different. You really cannot have a job with hers. It's completely like they have class like every other day during the day. They don't really offer night classes. It's a little bit different. My friend Heidi's, I want to say, is the same way. I think she has classes like 2 or 3 times a week during the day, and I think she has 12-hour clinicals also. I'd have to double check with her. Again, every school is different, but you kind of have the same idea. For your clinicals, they really try and get you to have 12-hour shifts because that's how the real world is with nursing. Your shifts are always going to be 12 hours, usually 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. usually. Some hospitals still have 3 8-hour shifts, but most of them have 12-hour shifts. So that was kind of a rundown of my whole scheduling. I'm sorry this video ended up a lot longer than I planned it to be. I'm going to try and cut it down as best I can. If you guys have any more specific questions about school, definitely let me know down below as far as like my study habits or how I organize my things or any other questions really. I mean, like I said, I am open to sharing with you guys whatever I need to really, because I would have loved to have some advice prior to starting all this, because I probably would have thought twice had I done it, like, especially because I already have a degree. I already had a chosen career path and I completely switched it up. So, but I'm so happy I am. I feel like God works in mysterious ways, and you know, everything happens for a reason, and I feel like now this is where I'm supposed to be. I enjoy it so much. I love having all this knowledge in my head about I mean, people come to me like I'm a doctor. I kid you not. My mom asked me, so I have this and this symptom. What do you think it is? I'm like, Mom, really? I'm still in school. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what's wrong with you right now. So I am grateful for the experience overall. I really enjoy it. When I was about halfway through, I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not going back to school. Like, after this, I am done. I've been torturing myself for the last, 7-8 years, full-time, non-stop school. Like, I'm done. But now I'm kind of leaning more towards, I at least want to get my bachelor's. There's a program where you can actually, it's called a bridge program, when you have your ADN, and I highly recommend this because the ADN is the shortest amount. It takes the shortest amount of time to get, especially if you already have some prereqs. I recommend getting into a hospital that you're comfortable with, maybe even one that offers tuition reimbursement, and then going back to school, because it's so much easier once you're in the field to continue on with your education, in the future. They offer a lot of bridge programs that are online, strictly online, and that are self-paced. So that's what I'm looking into right now. There's one, I want to say it's called Western something. I had to do a little bit more research on it, but one of the nurses was telling me she's doing it right now, and you buy a block of time. So like you buy 6 months at a time. It's an accredited school. You buy 6 months at a time, and whatever you can finish in that 6 months, it's a self-paced course. Whatever you can finish, you literally, if you worked day in and day out, you could have a master's degree in 6 months if you really wanted to. So I'm really going to look into something like that, because although I don't want to be a nurse practitioner, if you get a BSN, you're still going to be a basic RN. I mean, you may, depending on where you work, you may get paid a little bit more, but most places do not offer more than 50 cents or $1 more per hour to have a bachelor's. However, like I said, a lot of hospitals are trying to get magnet status, and they do want to have the majority bachelor's degree nurses on the floor. So I definitely am going to go back for my bachelor's. I don't know that I'll do it immediately. I may try and find a job first and then try and go back for my bachelor's online. And then my master's, I really think I probably will do a bridge program. It only takes like a year, 18 months to get into a program, to do a program like that where you have a master's degree. An MSN is what it's called. And so I'm thinking about doing that. The only bad thing about that, I don't want to be a nurse practitioner, which you could be a nurse practitioner with a master's degree. I don't want to do that. But I don't know. maybe eventually I would, but right now that's not my goal. So I definitely want to do a little bit more research on that. I would like to have a master's as a backup plan later in life, because you can actually be a professor and teach in the future. You know, when your body's worn out and you're just tired of floor nursing, you can teach in the future, and I think that's a great opportunity, you know, for something down the line to kind of keep your future going. So anyway, yeah, like I was saying, if you guys have any specific questions, feel free, you know, to tweet me or Facebook me or leave them down below. I'm completely open to answering anything and everything you guys like. I know a lot of you are waiting a long time for this video, so I really appreciate you guys hanging in there for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it kind of gave you some useful tips and tricks and stuff like that when it comes to nursing school. I definitely, like I said, recommend first things first, get those prereqs out of the way. Don't wait, don't try and drag them on like I did. The quicker you can get them done, the better off you are, I promise you. So yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!